Okay, today we're going to begin the process of installing a ascender hood and side panel kit along with the ProMax cold air intake. Here's a little review of the main parts used. Basically we've got the main side panel and the upper side panel, the lower belly pan, there's the front vent inlet and mount, the upper right hood. This is the cowl area, which is right in front of the seat where the gas cap is. This is the front belly pan, or skid plate basically. Then the left-hand hood. Now this ProMax cold air intake we have was a prototype run in 2017. So the production ones are going to be different, but we took this one off of our test machine to use for the installation video. Moving on to the left side, you got your belly pan, side panel, vent and mount, and then the upper side panel and vent. The kit comes with all the hardware needed as well, and we will go through that process during installation. Okay, after the stock belly pans have been removed, make sure that all the rivets are drilled out of the chassis completely. There'll be 9 rivets total, starting from the back here by the rear running board, along the bottom of the bulkhead, towards front by the front A-arm, just above that one, just in front of the front shock, and just behind the shock. Okay, take the new belly pan on the left side and put it into place before it gets riveted. Okay, next we're going to be riveted on the left-hand side belly pan. We'll be using 9 of the black big-headed rivets, and obviously it works easiest with a air riveting gun. So here we go. Alright, now that the right hand belly pan is set into place, you'll be installing 9 rivets. To the front ones. Okay, the hood inlet vents just simply need to be assembled. Very easy. Just simply 2 torch-headed screws. A little lip on top. It fits into place. And then the 2 screws go on the bottom. Just repeat that process for both sides. Okay, we're going to be installing the front air intake vents, which you can see we've got the right side done already. When you install that, there's two different length bolts used. One's got a flat end, one's got a pointed end. The flat ended one is used when you mount it to the belly pan, and the pointed end one is what goes into the bulkhead. Now that the vents are in place, we're going to mount the ECU. We'll be reusing the stock mounting bolts for the ECU. After the ECU is installed, we're going to mount the heat shield that protects the pipe's heat from the ECU. Two tabs in the front, two screws in the back. This particular set has an aftermarket gauge on it, so we're adding a ground wire, which isn't normally there. Alright, so I can see the air vents are intact, ECU and heat shield. Okay, the front skid plate is going to get installed next. There's 4 mounting holes. There's 2 in the rear, which if you have like an accessory front bumper or like a Snow Pro bumper that isn't just a loop or like a black diamond bumper that mounts on the bulkhead, those would be these rear mounting screws. And then the front 2 holes mount to the bulkhead right here on each side. So since we're going to be putting the black diamond bumper on this in the future, we're just going to put the front 2 screws on for now. See how the screwdriver actually goes through the skid plate when you're installing that bolt. And there you go, the front skid plate is installed. Okay, on the front skid plate there is a mounting hole in the front that holds the hood in place. It's just one single bolt that comes with the kit. So you need to just simply put the retaining clip onto the skid plate, which we'll do right now. Once the clip slides into place, there's a retainer you have to tap in so it does not come out. Okay, if you have the RS style side panel, which has the painted upper side panel, that's 2 pieces, the side vents need to be installed. You can see where we have the vent installed on the one side and not on the other. The vent itself has mounting tabs on it to mount it into place. and that's simply what you use to hold the vent tab in place. As you can see, this one has been pressed into place, making sure all mounting tabs are on the inside of the panel. Just repeat that process for both sides. Okay, on the RS style panel, we're going to install the upper piece. You want to start from the front and work your way towards the rear. So that is in place, and you simply put 2 screws in, one on each end. Tighten them up, and then you can see how the panel is now together. Okay, we're going to install the gas tank cowl. You need to take the rope off of the handle because it needs to go through the new cowl. We've already undid the knot ahead of time to save some time. We have a retainer on the back side of the rope holding in so it doesn't suck in. Steering post fits through the slot. And just reattach the recoil handle. Okay, part of the installation process is we have to install the rotating retainers for the side panels. See how they rotate in quarter turn increments. This side's already been installed. We need to install the left side. We'll have a look at the components used. There's the rotator itself, the lower piece which has the spring in it, and then the bolt and the washer. So you can watch us assemble it. Just snug it up and just rotate it to make sure everything's functioning properly. Okay, on the gas tank cowl, we want to install the 2 outer screws. We got the one installed already on the left side. We're using the flat-ended screw, and then we'll install the right-hand side. After the right-hand side has been installed, we have to mark 2 holes in the spar bars that will be drilling on each side. Four total. Here are the 4 holes that were marked previously. We need to drill out on the spar beam. Doing both left side and the right side, of course. Okay, now that the spars are drilled, we've reinstalled all 4 of the bolt to hold it down. You can see the fasteners are working fine. Recoil's in place. The screws are attached to the side panel, and one last step here is to drill and screw in to the running board. This particular sled has our BDX running boards, and with other brands it should be the same, where you just would drill and screw into the tube. Okay, now that the drilling process is done, simply install a screw on both sides to attach the cowl to the tube. Okay, now we're going to be installing some of the dash components. You can see this is a pre-production part. We're just simply using it for demonstration purposes. We're going to be installing the accessory plug-in and the ignition switch and the speedometer. We've already removed the wiring harness from the hood once again for this demonstration purpose. So the accessory switch goes in place, and then there's a nut, and you're simply just going to tighten the nut. There's a little spacer that goes onto the ignition switch before you put the ignition switch into place. And then the nut to tighten it down. Make sure you don't tighten it too much, just snug, because it's just plastic, of course. Attach the wire harness to the switch, and then there's two leads that go to the accessory plug-in. In regards to the speedometer, it depends what speedometer style you have. If you've got this style, which is the 2012 to 17 style, you'll have bolt nuts in the back and a retainer to hold it in place. This particular one's off of a 6000 model, so it's got the newer style gauge, which just simply plugs into place. It's got retaining clips built into the gauge, and then the harness just plugs into the back of it. Once the speedometer is in place, just simply plug in the harness in the back, and then next we will be attaching it to the cold air induction hood. Okay, as you can see, we're using our pre-production hood for demonstration purposes. We just showed you that we have the cowl, the windshield and air intake pod put together with the gauge and ignition switch and accessory plug-in. So there's basically just three fasteners at this point. There's just the two fasteners here and one in the nose. Okay, the last step on the cold air induction hood is to put the upper hood panels on. You can see we've already attached the left side. There's just simply two screws to attach, both one in the front and one in the rear. Start from the front, click it into place, and then simply install the two screws to hold it in place. After the two screws are installed, the cold air induction hood is done and ready to be installed on your snowmobile. Okay, your last step is to install the ProMax cold air intake hood and the side panels. You can see this is our 2017 prototype with the titanium muffler on it and our pipe mod, and the side panels are actually gray on this one, but they attach just the same. The side panel goes on. Make sure you line up the hole in the front properly, and then the pins twist on the side to hold it in place. You attach the wiring harness on the back left here. And tuck it up in place. And then the side panel goes on. Twist the back clip. Twist the front clip. Move to the other side. Twist the back clip. Another clip and you're all done. We've completed the installation process, and you can see what our Pro lights look like. The ProMax cold air intake hood and 2018 side panels.